אחרי שהלכתי לך זה לא שינה, ומיד כשחזרתי הייתה לך הרגשה שאני עוד אוהב אותך,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is so good to see you. We'll get started with this Shabbat of Parashat Tzav, and also the Shabbat previous to Passover. Who knows when Passover starts? We all know, tomorrow night, right? And the interesting thing about Passover immediately after Shabbat is like we have one more day to take a deep breath before we get started with the celebration of Passover. And you are supposed to try to finish all your cleanings before Shabbat starts. So you finish all the craziness and the preparation before Passover, and you have one more Shabbat to take to yourself. So we'll start our Songs of Freedom Shabbat right now, and we'll talk about why a Songs of Freedom Shabbat in one more moment.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I wake up this morning with my mind stay on freedom. Wake up this morning with my mind stay on freedom. Wake up this morning with my mind stay on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking, I'm talking in my mind. I'm walking, I'm talking in my mind. I'm walking, I'm talking in my mind. Stay on feet. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Our tradition teaches us that בכל דור ודור חייב אדם לראות את עצמו כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים. In every generation, each of us should see him or herself or themselves as we ourselves came out from the land of Egypt. And that experience, that foundational experience, is a link to two things, maybe more than two. One is to our collective memory, the memory of the Exodus that happened at the time of the Exodus, but also a link to our present, to the way in which we interpret and read the reality of our lives. It's a foundation of empathy toward all those that are experiencing oppression. Our story, the story of the Jewish people, is the story of the transition from oppression to redemption. So today, as we prepare our hearts for Passover, we will be singing songs of freedom. We will be thinking about those that are experiencing oppression. We will be singing songs from Passover, from the story of the Exodus. We will be singing songs that come from the time of the civil rights movement in the United States. We will be singing songs and telling the story of Ethiopian Jews, some of them that already made it to the land of Israel, and some of them that haven't made it to the land of Israel yet. We'll be thinking of those that are dealing with addictions and are captives of their own addictions. We'll be thinking of all those that are wishing and praying for the next year to be free. I would like to invite Ruti to lead us in Adlakat Nerot, in lighting Shabbos candles. I would like to invite Johnny. I see your candles right there, and I meet Ruti and Johnny. We have everyone, Miriam. I don't know who, the two of them together? Wow, that's a lot. So more than what I have in my paper. That's fantastic. Wonderful surprise. So if you have your Shabbos candles, please get ready as we light our Shabbat candles.
Not waiting. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for lighting candles for us and for bringing the light of your homes into our homes. We will now go to Anna.
We are from the garden, we are from the flood, we are from the angels singing, all you need is love. We are from the mountain and the hope blowing on the wind. We are from the Holy One within. We are from the wandering, we are from the dream, we are from the fight to understand what freedom means. We are from the promise and the hope for a better land. We are from the marching hand in hand.
We will have some special readings during this Kabbalat Shabbat. So if you would like to volunteer to read one of them, you might shoot a text to Rachel, and if she has the possibility, she will be happy to give you one reading. And I will say that today we have the chat open. So we realized that our chat wasn't open. So if you want to say Shabbat Shalom to someone, before we continue with the service, you want to send a private message and say, Good Shabbos to each other, Good Shabbos to everyone, those that are joining us in Zoom, of course to each other, and those that are in YouTube and in Facebook. I had the chance before services to go to YouTube and say welcome to everyone. So I encourage you to do so. We'll go to the next slide.
Deuteronomy 6. When your children ask you in time to come, what is the meaning of the testimonies and the statutes and rules that the Lord our God has commanded you? Then you shall say to your children, we are Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, and God brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And God showed signs and wonders, great and grievous, against Egypt and against Pharaoh, and all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from here, that he might bring us in and give us the land that he swore to give our fathers. And God commanded to us to do all the statutes, to fear the Yah, the source of all being, our God, and for our good always, preserve us alive as we are this day. And it will be tzedakah, righteousness for us, if we are careful to do this commandment before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us.
I also want to share that our children have participated in these songs of freedom. So the next couple of songs, you'll hear and see the voices and faces of some of our youngest children at TBT.
A long, long time ago, at the beginning of the Passover story, the Israelite people were actually slaves, and they were forced to do a lot of work. And
I'm going to pause it for just a moment and make sure that you can hear the volume. There we go.
Is a song. A long, long time ago, at the beginning of the Passover story, the Israelite people were actually slaves, and they were forced to do a lot of work. And this is a song about that. Bang, 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 bang your hammers low. Bang, 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 give a heavy blow. For it's work, every day and every night. For it's work, when it's dark and when it's light. All right, let's get out our shovels now. Here we go. Dig, 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 dig your shovels deep. Dig, 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 there's no time for sleep. For it's work, every day and every night. For it's work, when it's dark and when it's light. Happy Pesach, everybody. One morning, when Pharaoh woke up in his bed, he was a little bit surprised. You see, the plagues were a-comin'. One morning when Pharaoh awoke in his bed, there were frogs on his bed and frogs on his head. Frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there. Frogs are jumping everywhere.
And this is another section where if you volunteered to or would like to do a reading, I think, Joni, I saw that you had messaged me that you'd be interested in doing a reading. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself and we will, there we are, there you are.
Uh-huh. And
are you able to see it on the screen?
no, long walk to freedom.
Yes, that one right there.
Okay. A long walk to freedom. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. Nelson Mandela.
Thank you, Joni. And here we are once again going to hear the voices and see the faces of some of our little ones singing about freedom.
Oh, listen, oh, listen, oh, listen, King Pharaoh. Oh, listen, please let my people go. They want to go away. They work too hard all day. King Pharaoh, what do you say? No, 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 I will not let them go. No, 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 I will not let them go.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. So Moses went to Egypt land, let my people go. He made old Pharaoh understand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus spoke the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go.
During Chavaya last week, when our class was discussing the Passover story, we reflected on the song Dayenu, a song that expresses the Israelites' joy and gratitude after God freed them from slavery in Egypt. During this discussion, my fellow teacher Yoni and I asked our students to write their own Dayenu statements, or statements that expressed that it would have been enough for them. Each of these statements represents a modern miracle that has happened in their lives, or during this past year. I invite you all to read the statements our amazing 4th through 6th graders wrote, and if you so choose, please write one of your own in the chat.
So I will say that if we can celebrate Shabbat together, Dayenu. So our tradition teaches us that one of the most important tools that we have in order to exercise our freedom is the ability of being critical thinkers, and we the Jewish people are critical. We also are thinkers, but we are very critical, and we exercise that by asking questions. The Manishtana that stands at the center of our Seder is an exercise in asking questions. So we will welcome Shabbat and we will sing Lecha Dodi today with the melody of Manishtana. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekavela Shamor bezachor bediurecha nanu Adonai echad ushemo echad leshemu letiferet beliteila Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekavela Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekavela לקראת שבת לכו ונרחקים מקור הברכה מאנוש מקדם נסו חשוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה התעוררי כי באורך ומאורי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקל ממתיש תוכחי ומתאמי ונבנתה עידלתי לה לך דודי לקראת כלה בשבת נקרלה נקרלה בואי ושלום עטרת בלה בשמחה ובצהולה תוך אמוני המשגו בואי חלה, בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקרלה And then we come out to welcome Shabbat, and in this journey of freedom, once again, before we move any step forward, we want to invite you to say good Shabbos to each other if you haven't had the chance yet. We'll sing the song of Argan Frunkel, We Are Going. We'll be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get if you are able to do so, we invite you to please rise for Barhu. Otherwise, you can rise always, not in your legs, but in your spirit. Go to the next slide.
There's a land that I see where the children are free, and I say it ain't far to this land from where we are. Take my hand, come with me, where the children are free. Come with me, take my hand, and we'll live in a land where the river runs free, in a land through the green country, in a land to a shining sea. And you and me are free to be, you and me. I see a land bright and clear, and the time's coming near when we'll live in this land, you and me, hand in hand. Take my hand, come along, lend your voice to my song. Come along, take my hand, sing a song. For a land where the river runs free, for a land through the green country, for a land to a shining sea, for a land where the horses run free, and you and me are free to be, you and me. And you and me are free to be, you and me.
We think of our being together as we get closer to the Shema. We think of the many gifts that we have in our lives. We think of the love that's around us. We think of you and me.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please join me on page 154 with Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובעובי שעריך.
Put them as a sign in your doorpost. That's the mitzvah of Passover. Find your identity, identify. We'll go to our next reading.
This is once again an area where if you would like to volunteer to do this reading in this collaborative service, then you can message me or simply unmute yourself and let me know.
Go, Rachel.
And actually, I'm going to instead invite Itai to come and read for us.
Frankel Victor E. Mann's Search for Meaning. One day, a few days after the liberation, I walked through the country past flowering meadows for miles and miles toward the market down near the camp. Larks rose to the sky and I could hear their joyous song. There was no one to be seen for miles around. There was nothing but the wide earth and sky, and the lark's jubilation and the freedom of space. I stopped, looked around and up to the sky, and then I went down on my knees. At that moment, there was very little I knew of myself or of the world. I had but one sentence in mind, always the same. I called to the Lord from my narrow prison, and he answered me in the freedom of space. How long I knelt there and repented the sentence memory can no longer recall. But I know that on this day, in that hour, my new life started. Step for step, I progressed until I again became a human being.
כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר מאוד, העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. As I walk along cross this very narrow bridge. I will not fear, knowing you are near. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד.
איתי?
I'm gonna do the next one. Unless we have another volunteer, I will do this
No,
next.
you go ahead.
A long walk to freedom. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela. Please join us for the blessing for redemption. Mi chamocha.
Oh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Oh, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh. Oh, nora tehilot. Oh, sefele. Oh, nora tehilot. Oh, sefele. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokeh lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ozeli anu ve'omru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. These songs of freedom. Redemption song.
Baruch Ata Adonai Gaal Israel. Blessed are you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. We'll turn to the next slide for the blessing for our inner peace.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
Ashkevenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'amidenu shomeinu. Ufros aleinu Sukat shlomecha, ותקננו בעצה טוב מלפניך. All my life I've been waiting for.
People to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and the children will play one day.
השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, בעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, עמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני, Guardian of Israel, shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over your holy city, Jerusalem. We'll now take a moment for our personal prayer for Tfilat Amidah. We invite you to take a moment for quiet meditation. You can also open your Siddur, or alternatively, you can follow the slides with an alternative prayer that we prepare for you. שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני, שפתי תפתח, יופי יגיד, יופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני, שפתי תפתח, יופי יגיד תהילתך. תפילת עמידה. pass to the next slide. As we conclude the Amidah, we ask for the strength to find peace, to make peace within ourselves, and also to make peace with each other. We also in this service, as we pray these songs of freedom, we think of those that are captive of illness, that are captured by addictions. And of course, as we always do, we think of all those that are dealing with illness in its many ways. We ask for the recovery. We sing Elna Refanala, the words that Moshe begged on behalf of his sister.
To accept the things I cannot change. God grant me the courage to change the things I can, and God grant me the wisdom to know the difference. שכינה לאמותינו, היא תמצא מצוא לסובים, רפואת הנפש והגוף, רפואה שלמה. The things I cannot change. God grant me the courage to change the things I can, and God grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Fana
אמן. אנחנו מאחלים, we wish רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה. A complete and a fast recovery to all those that are dealing with illness. And let us say, Amen. So in this Shabbat of Songs of Freedom, we want to share a very, very special story of freedom. I would like to invite Rachel White that will share a story that is from a children's book, and we feel very, very connected in our community to that story, and you at the end, or maybe at the beginning, will understand why.
The story that I'm going to share with you is titled Yuvi's Candy Tree by Leslie Simpson. I escaped on a donkey in the dark. I wore my white dress with embroidered flowers. I rode on a donkey because I was only 5. I had no shoes. My aunts whispered about robbers. I was afraid of the hyena's screech. At night we ran. Our dresses whooshed in the wind. My grandmother told me not to be afraid. We are going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. During the day, we slept under trees, hiding. My dress turned the color of dirt. We played Shabbat by packing mud into pretend dabu, our Ethiopian bread. We slurped make-believe coffee made of stones. We pretended to be mothers, showering our cousins with pebbles. My mother was already in Jerusalem with my baby brother. Now it was my turn. My grandmother made a harness so I would not fall off. I waved to the moon and stars, snuggled under the donkey's belly. We are going to Jerusalem, said my grandmother. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. I did not see angels. I saw only sand. Wind whipped the sand into my mouth. I was thirsty. I dreamed of candy. Once my father brought it from the market, hard and white, small and sweet. We are going to our real home, to Israel, said my grandmother. In Jerusalem, your wishes will come true. But the next morning I saw men. Robbers, I cried. We had money hidden in the hems of our clothes, but the robbers tore at the hems, grabbed the money, and ran. We hid most of the money we had left in the baby's backpacks. More robbers came. They stole the backpacks. We're going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home, said my grandmother. We'll be back, said the robbers, laughing as they rode away. We had a tiny bit of money left, tucked under the donkey's blanket. Hide the money in the donkey's cheeks, I suggested. Yuvi, the donkey, will eat it, said my grandmother. Then hide the money in my cheeks, I said, opening my mouth. Yuvi, you might eat it, said my grandmother. I hid the money under my curls. Clever girl, said my grandmother. The robbers came back. They pulled at our torn hems. They looked in our empty backpacks. No money, we said. I was afraid they could see through my curls. The robbers are not as smart as you, whispered my grandmother. We are going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. We ran many nights. We slept many days. My feet bled. We drank from the muddy river. My tummy ached. Finally, we arrived at the refugee camp. The next week, we climbed the stairs to a big airplane. People pushed and shoved. The engine's roar hurt my ears. My grandmother held my hand. I patted my head and felt the money. My grandmother winked. In Jerusalem, there will be candy, clothes, and games, she said, and as much bread as you can eat. I imagined orchards of candy. You could eat as much as you wanted, and the candy would grow back. I imagined bread in my hands, bread stuffed into my pockets, and pillows of bread. There was a hush on the plane when we landed in Israel. We made our way through the busy airport and onto a bus. We were going to Jerusalem. I looked out the window. What is that? I asked. Orange trees, said the bus driver. What happens if you pick an orange? I asked. They grow back. Eat as many as you want, said the driver. Juicy and sweet. Now I understood. But the bus driver had the wrong name. I had found my candy tree. Yuvi's candy tree is a fictional story based on the true story of Yuvi Tashomi. Yuvi escaped from Ethiopia to a Sudanese refugee camp when she was a little girl. She was later airlifted to Israel as part of Operation Moses, one of several Israeli rescue operations of Ethiopian Jews in the 1980s and 90s. Israel's law of return gives Jews of all countries the right to return to Israel. The Ethiopian Jews view Israel as their home, and they risk their lives to return. Thousands die along the way. We chose to tell this story tonight, because when we were thinking of the service filled with songs of freedom, it reminded us that freedom comes in many forms, and stories of redemption, like that of our Ethiopian siblings making Aliyah to Israel, are at their core stories of freedom. And while Yuvi's story takes place in the 80s and 90s and echoes thousands of similar stories of Jews escaping to Israel at the time, that echo continues on. Today, thousands of Ethiopian Jews wish to follow in people like Yuvi's footsteps and immigrate to Israel. In fact, in May of last year, 119 Ethiopian Jews made the difficult journey and arrived in Israel, their new home. TBD's Angie Group, which stands for Aiding Needy Jews in Ethiopia, has raised almost $20,000 to help some of the 12,000 Jews living in poverty in Ethiopia to celebrate Passover this year. Many are hungry, many are sick, many lack medical care, and all are awaiting Aliyah to Israel. $18 will pay for a family in Ethiopia to enjoy Passover with matzah. If you would like to help give our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia matzah for Passover this year, please click the link that will be in the chat wherever you are watching. And as we reflect on Yuvi's story and the stories of all Ethiopian Jews who have made Aliyah to Israel and those still waiting, I'll end with this poem written by Chaim Edisi. It's called The Journey to the Land of Israel. The moon watching over above, on my back the meager bag of food, the desert beneath me, no end in front, and my mama promises my little brothers, a little bit more, a little more, to lift your legs, a final effort before Jerusalem. The strong moonlight scene, our bag of food got lost. The never-ending desert, the howls of jackals, and my mom calms my little brothers. Another moment, a little more, soon we will be redeemed. We won't stop going to the land of Israel. And in the night, bandits attacked with knives and a sharp sword. In the desert, the blood of my mom, the moon, my witness, and I promise my little brothers. Just a moment, a little more. The dream will be fulfilled. Soon we will arrive to the land of Israel. In the moon, my mama's image, looking at me. Mom, don't disappear from me. If only she was by my side, she would be able to convince them that I'm Jewish. A moment more, a little more, the dream will be fulfilled. Soon we will arrive to the land of Israel. A moment more, a little more, lift your eyes, a final effort before the land of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very, very much, Rachel. ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. We'll now take a moment for Mourner's Kaddish. Can I ask you to stop the slides for a moment? I would like to see a gallery view. Can you put us in gallery view as well? Can't see everything. No, please stop the slides. So, just want to make sure that I see everyone in this Zoom call for a moment. So we think of so first, before we go into the calls, I see that Aiden and Stephanie are sitting here, and Aiden's grandfather passed away yesterday morning, Harold. So we will start saying Kaddish after Tuesday for him. The funeral is on Tuesday, so we will start saying Kaddish for him after the funeral in Tuesday, but we are thinking of him, we are thinking of Dad, who is in New Jersey now, and we are thinking of you. We'll now acknowledge mourners in our community. We ask you to share the names of those who you are remembering. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, if you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, if you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning. And so, if you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone passing by this time of the year in years past. I'm also thinking of Jody Prum, who passed away a few years ago in the evening of Pesach. I invite you to open your Sidurim on page 598. Or to follow the... Can you help me? For Mourner's Kaddish. 598. התגדל בהתקדש שמר רבה. בעלמה דברה חילותי בהמליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב באמרו אמן. יאה שמר רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך בהשתבח, בהתפאר, בהתרומם, בהתנשא, בהתהדר, בהתעלה, בהתעלל, שמד קודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמה, באמרו אמן. יאה שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו Amen. May the memories of your beloved ones be always a blessing in your life. Yeh Zichram Baruch. You may be seated. And after Mourner's Kaddish, we take a moment to acknowledge Simches that we celebrated in the month of March. I would appreciate if we go to the next slide. Oh, that is more suitable to what we are talking about right now. Thank you. Let's stay in that slide for a moment. So we would like to invite you to share your simchas. And if you had a simcha in the month of March, or you still have a simcha in the days to come, we invite you to share in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, and of course here in Zoom. And if you are in Zoom and you want to unmute yourself and tell us what your simcha is, please go ahead. I see there is a beautiful, unusually beautiful. We can stop sharing this. That works too. Who are you? Can you unmute yourself, the two of you?
It's my birthday soon.
It's Mazel Tov. How old are you? And what's your name? Gilad. Gilad.
Yeah, and we're definitely not downstairs.
When is your...
Daddy!
When...
Dad, you know who I am.
I do know who you are. When is your birthday? I was confused for a moment. On Wednesday night? So Gilad is turning 5 years old. So we have a simcha here in our household. Who else? I see. Oh, the Mati Jebit. Who is there? Unmute. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh yeah.
Here.
There you go. You're unmuted. Emmy turns 9.
Mazal tov. Mazal tov. Emmy, was so nice to see you last Wednesday. And all the rest of the family, of course, but it was nice to see you.
Oh, it's nice to see everyone out of a box.
Yeah. I see the Osliks also coming up.
Yeah, our 17th wedding anniversary was March 20th.
March 20th. Mazel tov. Mazal tov. How many years, can I ask?
17.
17 years. You're serious about this relationship.
17 fun-filled, just like a vacation.
Wonderful. I see Ken Bain is coming.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, it was my birthday.
Today?
Let's see, last week, the 14th.
Last week. Mazal tov.
Yeah, thank you.
How old are you now?
Very.
You're very.
Very old. I'm 55.
What?
55.
You know what? Doesn't matter what age you are. You are very.
I'm very. That's
You're
right.
very.
I don't look a day over 49.
Yeah. Good. Very good to see you again. See.
Likewise.
Your daughter sings very nicely.
I'm cavelling, that song that you sang, Free to Be You and Me. That was a production I did in camp, Jewish camp, like when I was a teenager.
So you got some naches.
A lot, actually.
From the young generation. You can take it as a birthday gift. Do we have any other simcha to acknowledge in the room? So we ask you also to share simchas in the comments on Zoom in YouTube and Facebook. And we have a special simcha. We made a slide for this simcha, for this important lady. Here is Elaine, who is turning she turned 2 days ago, 97 years old. So we wish Elaine Mazal Tov, and we look forward to seeing her after we are vaccinated. I told her, I spoke with her daughter this week, and I look forward to seeing you in a few more weeks when I get vaccinated and I get the chance to visit you. So we'll take a moment to acknowledge all the simchas saying Sheheyanu Bekimanu Begianu Lasman Aseh. We can do a gallery view right now, or you can go to the celebration slide. Sheheyanu Bekimanu Begianu Lasman Aseh. Bekimanu begianu l'zman hazeh. Mazel tov to all of you, in this case to all of us. We will now get back to the slides as we prepare for Kiddush. If you have a Kiddush cup, we invite you to take that cup and to raise your cup with us. And a beautiful thing that we have in our Kiddush, when we say Kedushat Hayom, after we say the blessing for the one, and we continue with the blessings that we say in Shabbat and in holidays, we say Secher Lemaseh Bereishit, Secher of the creation of the world. There are two things that happen in the creation of the world. One, well, several things, but there are two concepts that are key, in my opinion. One is that all the human beings were created in the image of God, and so we are all equal. And also that we were invited to become partners in the creation. The other event that the Kiddush reminds us is Secher, a reminder, Liyetziat Mitzrayim, a reminder of the Exodus. So we always keep in mind human dignity and our partnership with God, and the fact that our story is a story of redemption. ויחול השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. You go.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו. בשבת קודשו בעבור רצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים.
כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, עם כל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני,
מקדש
השבת. חיים. לחיים. We take also a moment to acknowledge our creations and to acknowledge those that have brought us into this world. We think of our children, of our parents, of our grandparents. We think of those that fill our world with love. Come in. We say to our boys, ישמחם אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה. And to our girls we say, ישמחן אלוהים כשרה רבקה רחל ולאה. May God inspire you to be like our fathers and our mothers. And to all of them we say, יברככם אדוני וישמרכם. May God bless you and protect you. To you, and may you find between you God's light always. יישא אדוני פניו אליכם וישם לכם שלום. May you find within you God's presence always, and may you find peace. וישם לכם שלום, יברככם אדוני וישמרכם, יאר אדוני פניו אליכם ביחונכם, יישא אדוני פניו אליכם ויעשה לכם שלום, ויעשה לכם שלום. In this Kabbalat Shabbat of Songs of Freedom, we will conclude asking for the same expansion, for the same space that Viktor Frankl prayed for, the same space that he describes in his book, a meaning, search of meaning. We will ask for merhav. We will try to recognize the narrow place in which we are, our Mitzrayim, the tzarut, the narrowness that holds us back, and we will ask for a space, for merhav. We will go to the next slide. Gabriel.
Ina metza karatia anani v'mechavya min hametza karatia anani v'mechavya min hametza
Anani bemerchavia, mina metzar karatia. Anani bemerchavia, Odol Adonai Kitov, Leolam Chasdov. Anani bemerchavia osim besimrat yam vayehi lishua osim besimrat yam vayehi lishua Anani bemerchavia, Odol Adonai Kitov, Leolam Chasdo. Adonai os le'amo iten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom everyone, good Shabbos. Let's make a gallery view. Simrat Yam, Vayehi Lishvat Simrat Yam, Lishvat Simrat Yam, Vayehi Lishua. What a wonderful Shabbat. What a wonderful Shabbat. Thank you for the voice.